over the past 2 decades.
Okay, let's do it like this. Weave stuff, weave stuff, weave stuff. Okay. It's been a while since I haven't watched weave stuff, so let's get into it. Why people like anime girls?
This
Wait, I'll do this like this. There you go.
this is an anime girl. To the average observer, this may look like just another animated character. But what if I told you that characters like this have been reaching international popularity? Whether you're from Japan or not, the odds are that you yourself have seen someone online using an anime girl as an avatar.
So this video is actually from like a couple of years ago. I had why people like anime girls and what's it called? Fuck, I forgot the word. I need to fucking check. Um, mm, 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 mm. Okay, I will add to that why people like anime girls and why people like VTubers. Okay, just because this is like the video is from 4 years ago, and I'm pretty sure that it will also like be relevant uh to VTubers.
In this video on PaxTube, we're here to find out why these characters are so well liked. Ladies and gentlemen, let's talk about anime. Specifically, the anime and manga industry produced by Japan. This art industry has become very popular around the world, especially on the internet. Unlike Western animation, which typically gears itself toward children, the anime industry targets a wide variety of age demographics. Thus, you'll find fans who are adults and teenagers alike. In recent years, Western companies have even attempted live action adaptations of anime, with not much success, to put it lightly. But the rise of popularity of anime in the West is worthy of investigation, and it leads us to some telling conclusions. A key factor that stands out in anime's success is its female characters, who garner fan bases in and of themselves. The term waifu, a variation of the word wife, is used commonly in anime circles to refer to one's favorite female character. It's become obvious at this point that anime girls have a special charm that viewers in the West are picking up on. Firstly, appearance. Now, the most common explanation of why anime girls are popular is
And something that like is never mentioned about waifus is how much waifus are less objectivized than Western girls, no matter what media you choose, and how much waifu and the term like waifus and anime girls actually promote feminism, like because they create like healthy avatars, healthy personality, like personality character, like healthy characters, healthy heroine for little girls to look up to and to actually fucking like feel feel kawaii, you know? And this is actually promoting feminism in quite a beautiful way from in a, but in a really kind of like implicit way. And this is what I like about like the culture of waifus, of shoujos, of yaoi, yuris, and everything in between.
that they're cute. And that's very true. These characters are professionally designed to be feminine and attractive. There are entire animation methods devoted to their styles.
Even if from far away, if you're not into this culture, it might look really superficial and really sexist. While in actuality, it is so feminist. It's such a fucking it's such a fucking beautiful act of love towards feminism that and people don't talk about it enough.
The physical traits that are highlighted in anime include flowing hair, large and detailed eyes, and slim or curvaceous bodies. These features are highlighted because they're widely accepted as beautiful. Some might argue that beauty is subjective, but let's face it, they're ultimately physical traits that people are biologically wired to be attracted to. Those creating anime do not try to obscure this. It should also be noted that these female designs go hand in hand with clothing that accentuates their feminine features, such as ribbons, bows, or other hair accessories. Meanwhile, some character designs are more childlike, which are intended to trigger protective instincts from the viewer. You could call this the cute or comfy factor. Now, of course, anime doesn't exist in a vacuum, so to understand its
And just think about it this way. 10, 15 years ago, 25 years ago, anime was mostly followed by and mostly like promoted by men. But these days, there's a lot of little girls that get to see let's say Chainsaw Man or Demon Slayer, and they get to see what a superheroine looks like within the non-Western world. And think about how powerful it is for a little girl to actually see Shinobu from Demon Slayer, or I don't know, Power or Makima, or other type of characters to be so well written, so well thought, so beautiful, and that becomes their model, just like us back then, like where our models were like actually male models, like from anime. Everyone wanted to be Naruto, everyone wanted to be Ichigo, everyone wanted to be Luffy, but this new waves of anime, like especially with animes that are uh wait, like K-On, for example, or where is it? Or Oshinoko. Like how these animes actually fucking like really make the life of little girls or like teenage girls really better. This and I will compare it to artists such as for like my like metal, like goes into metal, or like goes into rock, the same way that Avril Lavigne or Evanescence back in the day did to these teenage girls, you know?
its ascendancy in the West, we also need to look at what's going on in Western media. In Western media, by contrast, there's been efforts to reduce character designs that even differentiate between men and women. Some have linked this to the fat acceptance and androgynous movements, but truthfully, these two movements are simply two branches of the entire source. That source is feminism, which has come to utterly dominate Western media. Hollywood and television studios consistently identify more as feminist and liberal than the general public. This is then reflected in their portrayals of women. In a great irony, feminism rejects the value of femininity and works instead as a conduit to make females masculine. The biological differences between the sexes are seen not as something to be celebrated, but as obstacles to be destroyed. These natural differences are thus downplayed, and studios put ridiculous efforts into making female characters look and behave like their male counterparts. Things weren't always this way in Western media, but they certainly are now. Meanwhile, this kind of feminist influence simply does not exist in anime studios, and that's played an enormous part in this contrast of character designs. And beyond just the issue of feminism, a solid portion of the animation that gets propped up by corporations in the West is downright hideous. So it's clear that the
Yeah, and I'll add to that as a Twitch streamer, as a content creator, the new models for like girls, if not in anime at least, are actually e-girls. I actually like female streamers, female YouTubers, and this is where they found their model because, like, for some reason, Hollywood or whatever the fuck, like, I'm not against like this type of feminism, but like, girl, like, it's just like they portray complex and demonstrate a complex personality and way to be, and because of that, thanks to that, it allows for like people to be inspired, like men and women, like to be inspired by them. But think about like the little girl that like tried to fucking find model to find someone that she wants to become, right? And you have like all these movies where like it's like kind of like this, like just like you said, really grim, really like complicated, serious and stuff. Then you get like the Twitch sphere, YouTube sphere, and anime where like girls are girly, but they're not like stupid, but they're not like, and they're powerful, and they're like they have like a lot of symbolism to them, and also they are like supported by the fans. They are liked by everyone in anime, you know. Just putting this out there.
physical
And by the way, free win best girl. Best girl. No, I'm just joking. It's Makima, best girl. Makima, best girl.
appearance of anime girls is a main factor that makes them popular in the current West. But I will submit to you that there is an even greater factor at play that goes far deeper than physical appearance. To lead into this, let's look at how Maki from the anime Love Lab responds to receiving a compliment from a boy.
君さ、ちょっと可愛いと思って人のことバカにしてんだろ。なんだよその反応、おかしいだろ。だって男の子に可愛いなんて言われたの。
Take note of the traits that are being displayed here. This leads into the point. Anime girls are liked because of their virtuous and feminine personality traits.
And do you know who the fuck reacts like this in real life? Girls. Yes, they do not react like in your fucking like TV show movies or like where like they have everything under control. Like
A female
real girls react like this.
Like this is common in anime, but all but
And in real life.
Western media. Generally, these characters demonstrate attributes that make them ideal candidates for wives, including loyalty, modesty, and a positive view of marriage and children. It's a common sight in anime, especially in the slice of life genre, to see characters outright fantasize about marriage.
それにこう見えても天文学の前はいいお嫁さんになるのも夢だったから。二人で
お二人の初めての共同作業です。
Characters are written this way intentionally, because not only do these virtues make them good love interests, but they're also admirable traits in and of themselves. I've noticed that chastity in particular is a value that anime likes to highlight. This applies to both male and female characters, but to avoid going off topic.
Oh, this is actually true, and this is actually a really good point. Chastity, so basically, like, be not cheating, like, right, being like faithful to the person that you love within anime is something that is really respected. I never noticed that. This is actually quite fucking amazing. Yeah, this is true. In anime, people like, may it be the anime boy, the anime girl, like, they are really faithful to each other within their love.
I'll stick to the females. Importantly, even female protagonists that are designed in a sexualized way are written carefully to have these virtues. I may not be a fan of some of these designs because they stride the line towards sexploitation, but their behavior as I've described.
No, this is fan service. Like, don't fucking demonize everything. This is called fan service, and people like it. It's fine. Sometimes it's a little bit too much, yeah. Sometimes it's a little bit cringe, yeah. But like, it's not fucking sexploitation. Fan service.
Shows that they're written with nuance. As one example of this, in the anime Overlord, the character Albedo is revealed to be a virgin despite her sexualized appearance. It's a rarity to hear a character say something like this outside of anime. Now, these female characterizations draw a stark contrast to not only Western media, but Western society itself. Currently in the West, values like modesty, chastity, and romantic exclusivity are increasingly treated as unnecessary or antiquated. This is in spite of the fact that most research shows that these things are critical to developing healthy long-term relationships. A 2019 research
I think that like it's more that they strip away the innocence and the beauty of the innocence of the feminine gender from Western cultural representation of women, of girls. Like they just strip away their innocence, strip away their niceness, their kindness, and how adorable they are. And this takes away a lot, and this makes it so like a lot of people, like I was talking about Avril Lavigne, right, or Evanescence. Avril Lavigne, do you know why she was such a fucking symbol to so many people? Because she is adorable, because she is likable, because she has this personality, and because she doesn't fucking feel cold when you fucking like are a fan of her. Like, but these days, yeah, they strip away a lot of these qualities, and a normal girl will tell you, I am not this fucking mean. I am not this mean person that I'm portrayed in movies, and I don't know how the fuck I identify myself. But thanks to anime becoming like more popular, this shifts because like they get to rediscover the this like themselves through a media that actually understand them. Like I had many girlfriends, especially one, a dragon girlfriend, that was really scary to me. But I can tell you, she was as beautiful as the sun and as adorable as a Pokemon. Okay, and I see the movies where they try to fucking portray like normal girls, and I'm just like, no, this is not my girlfriend. This is like someone weird. And then I watch a fucking anime, or like I listen to fucking Avril Lavigne, right? And or Alanis Morissette or stuff like that, and I'm like, yeah, that's my girl. This is the girl that like I'm dating. This is not the fucking like a girl that is fucking like so fucking over the top and just like so inaccessible that like even the girl is like, I'll never be like her, and it's like, yeah, no, and it hurts men as well because the men are like, yeah, I'll never be with a girl like her, and the girl is like, I'm not that complicated, but like when every single fucking movie and TV show fucking tell you the opposite, it's difficult.
research report from the Institute of Family Studies found that traditionally minded and religious couples reported the highest level of relationship quality and sexual satisfaction. Other research has shown that women who engage in promiscuous sex are more likely to have failed marriages, more likely to become single mothers, more likely to get an abortion, and less likely to report personal happiness than women who had zero sexual partners prior to being married. It truthfully turns out that the sexual revolution and free love were an utter disaster. But in spite of this, most of Western society continues.
This is false. It was not a disaster. It's chaotic and it's still improving day by day. Because so what is wrong about is about like how the Western world was overly sexist and machist over the last like century. If you take the time to study the story of feminism, which I did, you wouldn't believe how little men gave to women when it comes to arts, when it comes to representation, when it comes to like liberty, like when it comes to like day-to-day life, it was fine. But it was like when it comes to art, I have like another reaction video where it's like a girl talk about like fairy tale movie, right? And you wouldn't believe how like these art industries fucking like just fucking dismissed all this potential, all these girls just because they were girls. And now it changes, but like it doesn't like it doesn't take into account that like this is new. This is like a new fucking like territory where girls are actually fucking allowed to speak, allowed to fucking like do whatever the fuck they want without like fucking men calling them whores because they showed a little bit of fucking like whatever the fuck skin is illegal to fucking show during this period, you know?
Continues to double down on normalizing promiscuity. Fortunately, though, things aren't all bad just yet, as surveys do show that people say that those with more than 2 past sexual partners are undesirable for long-term relationships. The problem is that Americans report having between 4 and 7 past sexual partners. This has created an extreme gap between the kind of person people want a long-term relationship with and the kind they can actually choose from. Furthermore, the average age people first report having sex is 17. Now add in the fact that data shows marriage has a negative correlation with number of sex partners. That is, the more sex partners a person has, the less successful their marriage is likely to be. All of these things have come together to create a relationship wasteland in the West. It's created a situation where the average person has to choose between settling for a spouse with many past sexual partners, which they don't want, or dropping the idea of marriage entirely. A horrible situation through and through. Meanwhile, rather than trying to reverse this, Western media has led the charge in exacerbating this crisis. Studio executives practically fall over themselves to put forward female characters that are sexually promiscuous and masculine. As an example, in the show Game of Thrones, nearly
I'd say I won't be as alarmist and pessimistic as he is. This is right now feminism is growing and growing healthily. So there is like good things that comes from it, bad things that comes from it. Because it's still growing, and this is what he felt to understand. Like right now is a really time of change for feminism where it becomes like way more libertarian, way more relaxed, way more feminists, like girls in general are way more allowed to fucking do mistakes and within art within and basically like, but the argument is simple. Basically for the last 80 years when it comes to art representation, whatever the fuck, you do one simple thing depending on what's trending right now, to fucking call a woman a whore. You become a whore, you lose your job, you have no popularity anymore, right? These days, it's not the case anymore. But because of that, and it's recent, it's like the past 20, 30 years. But now, like the game of you do this, girl, everyone will call you a whore, since this doesn't exist anymore. Well, feminism tries and become and develops and just grow in different ways, and there are like failures to it, but there's also like many successes. And I will give you my personal success and my personal like idol, Emma Watson. I actually went from like being an actress to being a politician and an activist to actually fucking like do just like cool girl stuff, and that men can relate, and she's not overly sexualized, and she's not like she has like a good life. And I think that like Emma Watson is really like a prime example with like as a sex symbol that is non-sexualized the same way that Marilyn Monroe was, you know?
every single female character is written to either be involved in numerous sexual relationships or to have no interest in men whatsoever. Other shows that focus on teenage relationships are rife with premarital sex, abortion, homosexuality, and marriage being treated as a backwards institution. So with both Western media and society increasingly abandoning both feminine and monogamous traits, anime has done the opposite. It's now effectively one of the last reliable places young men can look to find idealized female portrayals who would make good wives.
Yeah, and also like because romance is something that is actually really candid, so really innocent. Shoujos, yuris, and yaois is something really like innocent and really like beautiful. You should check it out. Like if you never checked out fucking or slice of life as well. check a fucking like shoujo anime and don't tell me that this is sexist. Just try to tell me. Like,
Thus, it shouldn't be surprising at all that it's garnered a large
it can be dull, it can be dumb, but it is like really like this type of like good vibes that like you don't get in this fucking like serious fucking like Western world where like everyone is intelligent and everyone like knows everything, where like you're like no, everything looks stupid when you put a frame like this on a fucking like representation of art.
male audience. Now, a lot of anime fans may recognize this fact implicitly, but not actually be cognizant of it. There are, after all, many anime fans who are degenerate, and I think part of the reason these people exist is because they were never able to recognize what makes anime girls unique in the first place. And while I'm sure someone can find exceptions to what I've said in this video, they are just that, exceptions. To draw things to conclusion, the anime industry produces some beautiful works that we, as Westerners, can learn from. None of this is to say that anime is perfect or that Japan is a perfect country. All things have their flaws.
That's the most like the irony of it is that like technically Japan is quite a fucking like conservative country and still really sexist within within its politics. So the fact that like the artists are like so fucking like ahead of their time when it comes to feminism and creating a new wave of feminism, compared to living in a country that is really promiscuous and really like still in the past when it comes to like being sexist, is something really like quite ironic and quite funny, but also shows hope. Like, it doesn't matter where the fuck it comes from, goodwill and people loving, like just loving people, like it doesn't matter where the fuck it comes from, people will fucking like talk about it and create like art around it.
But what's clear here is that anime's female portrayals show feminine nature in a positive light that feminist media never can or will. In essence,
This is false. Never can or will. No, they do, but it's still in its infancy, because 30 years ago, a girl talking in public, she said one wrong thing, she wore the wrong dress, she was called a whore, and basically she was sexually harassed all the time. And this is the reality of it. And only now with YouTube and stuff like this is something that is like clearing it, like becoming like less and less something that is the norm for women within the modern world. So he is false about that, but that's okay, because like if he simply doesn't know, because it didn't like it takes to actually like get into that and try to understand that, because I was the same about like all the fucking like, hey man, like maybe this is a little bit extreme, your complaints, and then you fucking get into the life of like the feminine gender within like the last century, and you're like, girl, you're not even you're not complaining, I think that like you're asking not enough, you're asking, you deserve way more than what the fuck you're talking about. This is the truth, at least to me.
it exposes the current cultural crisis in the West in both media and public attitudes. When a huge portion of your male population has to look to a foreign medium to find virtuous female portrayals, that's a serious problem. I ultimately hope this video helps people see the value of virtue and the void that's left when people turn their back on it. Now, there may be some things I forgot to mention, so feel free to leave your views in the comments. And if you enjoyed the video, please consider subscribing and clicking the notification bell, as it really helps me to make more. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you in the next video.
This was a great video. I will subscribe to PaxTube. This was a great video. He forgot to say one thing, and I will tell you this one thing. I don't know if it works. Feminism fucking rocks, and fucking support feminism, and don't fucking, and yeah, feminism fucking rocks. It deserved to be supported, it deserved to be followed, and it deserved way more love as a social movement and as a political movement. That's all I had. All right. Let's keep on going.